You know that soda can you might have just finished? Well, it has this incredible secret life. I mean, we see them everywhere, right? We use them every day and hopefully we toss them in the recycling bin. But what happens after that? Well, it turns out to be one of the fastest, most efficient stories in our modern world. So, let's pull back the curtain and take a look at this hidden journey. All right, so really think about this for a second. You finish your drink, you toss the can into the recycling. It gets picked up by a truck, travels to some facility, it's processed, melted down, and totally remade. How long do you think that whole industrial ballet actually takes? What's your guess? 6 months? Maybe a year? Get this, 60 days. Just 60. That's it. From the second you recycle it, that exact same aluminum can be back on a store shelf, all filled up and ready to go in about 2 months. It's just a remarkably streamlined process. And it's all possible because aluminum itself is, well, kind of a magic material. So yeah, we're calling this a 60-day rebirth. And look, this super fast turnaround, it's not an accident. It's all because of aluminum's fundamental properties. It's not just that it's recyclable, it's actually something way more powerful than that. And here's the key concept: infinitely recyclable. Think about it like this. When you recycle some materials, like certain plastics or paper, it's like making a photocopy of a photocopy. Each time the quality gets a little worse, a little weaker. But aluminum, it's different. It doesn't degrade. You can melt it down and remake it over and over and over again. Forever. And it will always have its original quality. It's a perfect, closed-loop system. So where does this whole incredible 60-day journey even kick off? You might think it's in some high-tech factory or on a giant conveyor belt, right? Nope. It actually starts with a really simple, everyday choice. It starts with you.
Yeah, one of the sources we looked at put it perfectly. Think about it. Hundreds of millions of cans are used every single day. It's just part of our modern lives. But the second that can is empty, it comes to this critical crossroads, a real fork in the road.
And here they are, the two paths that can take. Path 1, the landfill. The journey just ends. It sits there, an environmental burden. But path 2, the recycling bin. That one little flick of the wrist unlocks its potential for that near infinite cycle of rebirth we were talking about. It becomes a vital link that keeps this whole green cycle going.
Okay, so you've made the right choice. The can goes in the bin. Now it enters what you could call an industrial gauntlet. Imagine this chaotic mix of everything we've recycled getting dumped onto conveyor belts. It's put through this whole series of really sophisticated machines that are all designed to do just one thing: find and isolate the aluminum.
And a tech they use here is honestly fascinating. First up, huge, powerful magnets pass over everything and pull out any steel cans or other ferrous metals. Easy enough. But then comes the really clever part, a machine called an eddy current separator. It creates this special magnetic field that doesn't attract aluminum, it actually repels it. So the aluminum cans literally jump right off the conveyor belt into their own bin, separating themselves from all the plastic and paper. How cool is that? And for a final cleanup, precisely timed jets of air blast away any last little bits of heavier debris.
And what you get at the end of all that is, well, this. It's a perfect description, really. A glittering cascade. You go from this jumbled mess of mixed-up waste to a pure, consistent stream of shiny aluminum fragments. It's now a proper raw material, ready for the next step.
So those glittering bits of aluminum are then fed into these enormous baling presses. And just look at the result. They get compacted into these super dense cubes. Now, the whole point here is simple: efficiency. By squishing it all together, you increase the density by more than 5 times. It's kind of like packing a suitcase, right? It just makes it way, way cheaper and easier to store and ship all that aluminum to the smelting facility.
All right, this next part is maybe the most dramatic stage of the entire journey. Those dense cubes of aluminum are trucked off to a furnace where they are about to face a literal trial by fire and be reborn.
So inside these gigantic furnaces, the aluminum is completely melted down. The heat is so intense that it just burns off any last little impurities. We're talking leftover paint from the can, the plastic liner, anything. It purifies the metal, returning it to its raw, molten state. It's basically a clean slate, ready for a whole new beginning. And from this molten metal, the possibilities are pretty much endless. It gets poured and cast into these huge, solid blocks they call ingots, or it's rolled out into brand new thin sheets. This recycled aluminum is now perfect, chemically consistent, and ready to jump right back into the manufacturing world. And not just as new soda cans. We're talking parts for cars, window frames, or even components for airplanes.
Okay, so we've seen how fast and efficient this whole thing is. 60 days is incredible. But why does it matter so much? Well, the real wow factor here isn't just the speed. It's the absolutely staggering environmental and energy benefits. This is the real green payoff.
To really get it, you have to compare two different ways of getting aluminum. First, there's primary production. That means making it from scratch, mining a rock called bauxite ore out of the earth and going through a huge process to refine it. Then there's secondary production, which is what we've just been watching, recycling aluminum that already exists. And let me tell you, the difference between the two is just enormous. Let's just look at the numbers because they speak for themselves. This chart shows the energy it takes to produce 1 ton of aluminum. To make it brand new from scratch takes a whopping 174 gigajoules of energy. But to make it from recycled cans, just 20. That's an energy saving of up to 95%. That is huge. It's honestly one of the biggest energy-saving moves in pretty much any industry out there.
And it's not just energy. Take a look at the emissions. Making that new aluminum creates 204 kilograms of CO2 for every ton. Recycling it? Only 12. That is a massive reduction, over 90% in greenhouse gases. This right here is exactly why recycling aluminum is so critical if we're serious about a sustainable future. And that brings us right back to where we started, with a choice. A simple choice that, as you've just seen, holds a remarkable amount of power. That aluminum can in your hand isn't just a container for your drink. It's a bundle of stored energy and precious resources that can be used again and again, literally forever. The fate of that journey rests on one single, simple act. So next time you finish one, what are you going to choose?